The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome to another edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host, the koala bear of Wall Street. And, of course, we meet every day that the markets are open between 2 and 3 live and, of course, archived anytime on TFNN.com, your headquarters for technical trading and investing. And we're having a good day out here. Got a little bit of back and forth in the markets. We're up, so let's move it down here a little bit. Yeah, up 4 points on the S&P cash. We were up 4 points. We were up as much as, 11, 12 points early in the morning. We were down as much as, 5 or 6 points. 2.4 billion shares. We've got a lot of volume today. And one of the reasons why is it is options rollover. And they need a little bit of volatility. I always recommend people not put a great deal into reading charts on Friday of expiration, and mostly into probably around 2 o'clock Tuesdays after expiration, because there's a lot of positions that have to be moved on and off for hedges because of the options. And you always get a little bit of volatility. And a lot of times it's meaningless. It is option market makers and market participants trying to push the market up a little bit. You get positions on and off, and of course they'll push it back down to get it on and off. And normally this goes on till about 2 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. Well, we had a close Monday, so it's probably going to go on till about Wednesday afternoon where they push this market around. We've got earnings, of course, over the next 2 weeks. We're going to have probably far more than 50% of the stocks not making their numbers. We saw some more trading down this morning. When we look at the Dow and why it is so volatile today, it's basically stocks with earnings. J&J this morning, Verizon, Travelers, all down. Well, they were down last time I looked. 1.5%, 2.5%, 3.5%, stuff like that. Not the end of the world, but of course all of them pretty much guiding down. And of course we have to buy that. The worse things get, the more we have to buy. That's the way the stock market works. Didn't even tell you that? That only when things get horrible, because they're really so bad, the only way that they work is the Fed continues to throw money out of helicopters and 747s when they can find them all over the marketplace. And, well, that's what we have. So we'll be continuing watching these markets and giving our calls here shortly. Anyway, in 1980, with inflation raging, gold hits a record price of $850 today in 1980. In the jewelry district along 47th Street in Manhattan, people wait excitedly to sell their rings and bracelets for cash. Gold dealers predict that the price will hit $1,000 by July. U.S. Secretary Treasury Duda, William Miller, has just announced at the moment it doesn't seem to be an appropriate time to sell our gold. As Fort Knox remained fully laden with 220 million ounces, it turns out to be the best time in history for selling gold for many, many years to come. And on January 22nd, the gold price fell by $145. By 1991, it's below $600 an ounce. In 1995, the price of gold has slumped to around $300. And this all out of the Power of Gold: The History of an Obsession by Peter Bernstein. And I think he's the same one that wrote Against the Gods, but a very good book on gold and gold history. Of course, you should know your history unless you wanted to repeat it. and we'll always look at that. Yamaha E433. I have no idea. Anyway, over the weekend, if you missed some of these items, we're going to go through a little bit of the snooze. Of course, as we get all the way into 2014, as my niece says it, 2014. Anyway, on Friday, Chinese state media reported that the Chinese credit trust company warned investors they may not be prepared. Basically, they were not prepared to pay maturity products on the 31st of this month, the year of the horse. I don't know why that matters. But most people are not talking about worrying about it too much. It looks like Chinese have decided to let a few of these wealth management products, they're called WMPs, fail over there, and that kind of scared everybody. Lending rates went up over the weekend, and China had to open the spigot, which kind of made us bounce a little bit this morning. But the idea that any kind of weakness anywhere in the world will automatically be turned a fire hose of cash on it. And again, that's what they did here. And markets are kind of a little bit freaked out on it. China wants to let a few of these WMPs fail, like they're going to let this one fail. And the reason why is that they've saved a couple of them already. And the thought is that if there isn't a few people that take it on the chin, that they're going to continue to lever these things up. Now, almost every one of these is some kind of coal company getting money, and the coal companies are paying 12 and 15% interest to get this kind of cash in China. And the whole thing's kind of doesn't pass the smell test, but they've got some problems in China. We just kind of see just the tip of the iceberg. The rest of the 90% of it's underwater over there because, of course, you're not allowed to report on it. And why I always am very risky thought about being in China. One day, I think we're going to all wake up and find out what kind of big fraud it was, maybe bigger than ours. IPOs this week, Care.com, CRCM's trying to come out. Largest online marketplace for finding and managing family care, i.e. in-house nursing. Plans to raise $80 million by offering 4.5 million shares. Kind of sounds kind of flaky. Rice Energy, another natural gas E&P. These things are flying out at the rate of one a week, which makes me really nervous about mostly the crude E&Ps, but this is one of the natural gas ones, so you might want to watch this. The symbol is going to be RICE, R-I-C-E, like white on rice. Offering 40 million shares at a price of $19 to $21. This may be one of the few ones that actually does well because it is natural gas, but I haven't checked it out. Santa Clara Consumer U.S., symbol's going to be SC. This is a bunch of Shylocks lending, the leading provider of subprime auto loans in the U.S. When I was growing up, there was always this ad that ran, and I worked late, got home 1:30, 2 o'clock, 2:30 sometimes, and there was one UHF station open or on at night, and they played reruns of Gilligan's Island and other things. And they had this just totally weird guy that would host it, just like everybody else has seen these, I'm sure, in these local markets. But probably the thing that always hit me so much was the same ad over and over again, probably from about 1978 till about 1975. And it was always the Lone Ranger financing innocent victim. Yeah, it was the Lone Ranger financing innocent victims of bankruptcy and repossession. It was always that. Anyway, that ad will always stick with me, along with, because right after that it was a Apollo Hair Bond. Apollo Hair Bond. Forget what it was. I'll have to remember that ad. It played right after it, and of course it was always the I don't know if they think a lot of people with no hair are up at 3 a.m. in the morning. I can understand how they think people that are bankrupt or are probably up and drunk at 3 a.m. But to me, I don't understand the whole bald thing at 2 or 3 a.m. Anyway, they plan to raise $1.5 billion, offering 62 million shares. If things get bad, maybe this is going to be something that's okay. But basically, your Shylocks, your pump and dump stores are going to get, my understanding, very into this subprime auto loan as people's cars get older and older. We have an average life of each car being at least 11 years old on the road. And it's going to be kind of interesting to see just how well this thing does this week. But if there was one I was going to watch to see what it is telling us about the appetite for companies out there, this is the one I'm going to be watching this week. If you've been watching the news just in the last 30 minutes or so, you would have seen Corzine of the giant bankruptcy fame, John Corzine, and former senator and New York governor, claims that he paid, actually what happened, a federal judge rejected a bid by the former MF Global Holdings chief executive to dismiss a regulator's lawsuit. This is from the CTFC. And why I think it's probably most interesting is that he faced absolutely no charges in what looked to be one of the most obvious cases where financial improprieties happen. Of course, he was in the right party at the right time with the right president, and maybe he knew where some bodies were buried or something. Maybe he had some pictures of leaders in high places with farm animals. Whatever it was, no one decided to go after him. But they are going to sue him, and one part of suing him is going to be taking his depositions. And at that point, he will not have the ability not to say when he knew it and when it happened and what he did. And we're going to have it on the record, and he's not going to be able to run away from what he did. And basically what he did was say, and at least the judge is weighing in on this, give rise to reasonable inferences that Corzine and former Assistant Treasurer Edith O'Brien illegally transferred money out of a customer's account to stem losses from big bets on European sovereign debt. Basically, he had those big bond purchases, and they all turned out to be smelly pieces of paper, and thought that he would just ship all the cash exit stage left from the U.S. over to Europe to handle it, and eventually all that money ended up coming back here to the United States, and they recovered most of it, but it's pretty easy to figure out what's going on. What isn't is going to be how he tries to color what he did in this. He won't be able to take the fifth or anything else. He has to answer. So we'll be back in a minute.
With over 3 decades of trading experience, Andy Hecht brings a tremendous amount of knowledge and expertise to each weekly issue of his newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report. The Technomental Commodity Report gives you Andy's unique technomental analysis of the commodities market, a combination of technicals and fundamental analysis which he has developed and perfected over his many years of trading. The Technomental Commodity Report is only $49 a month, and right now you can get a full month-long trial subscription while paying absolutely nothing. See for yourself the kind of weekly report Andy delivers to his subscribers every Thursday morning. You'll receive specific stock, ETF, and option trades based on Andy's analysis, so no futures account is required. For all the details and to start your month-long free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, visit TFNN.com today.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments. And whether you're bullish or bearish on U.S. Treasuries, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC. Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different futures contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now, you can receive a 2-week free trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the Signal Box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Oh, my word. These guys just can't find horrible music fast enough, can they? Has anybody ever watched Mystery Science Theater 3000? It was a show around in the 90s where they, the whole thing of the show was that they found these very horrible movies. Just the worst, just massive stinkers. And the theory was that they shoved a guy on a satellite and made him watch these movies and tested him. And it was all a big put on so that they could riff on the movies. And if you ever remember tuning across it, you would have seen like a couple of robots and a guy in silhouette in front of the movie poking fun at it. Anyway, on Netflix now if you missed it, if you like really bad movies. But apparently we've got engineers that love really bad music. They just can't find it fast enough. And with all the beautiful and great music out there, why would you go dig up a day-old hamburger underneath a trash bin and just kind of like, oh boy, that's got to be great. You know, you can see how many people that are scrounging for that hamburger. None. So it's got to be good, doesn't it? Forgotten favorites of really bad music, I just don't understand it. Well, anyway, I'm sure they were dropped on their heads by their parents several times. But as we go into what's going on here, there we go. as we're going on through the markets today, we're up about 3 points on the S&P cash, 2.5 billion shares. And, we've got gold gapping down, not a big surprise. I wrote in my daily newsletter Thursdays and Friday that I thought we were going to gap down coming back after this weekend in both the broad markets and gold. Gold, we actually did gap down. The other market, we tested down. And it's going to be all about earnings this week, and we're going to go through some of the stocks that will be coming up after the bell tonight and into next week. But let's get to it. SanDisk, NAND prices, that's NAND, which are non-volatile RAM prices. They've been falling, and if you, just like most commodities, there's always a market for prices. And I pretty much follow most of the prices. They're pretty much all set in Taiwan for some unknown reason. But every month, Taiwanese companies report what they're doing and how much business they're doing in electronics. Much better a gauge than what we see here in the United States, where most of the time you've got a quiet period before earnings. No one can say a word. We get a lot of data out from Taiwanese semiconductor manufacturers very quickly, like we did today. And, of course, that led to a downgrade in SanDisk, even though their earnings are coming out on Wednesday, which is very interesting. But coming down on the lighter volume today, got down, what was it, the low out here, find my Mies. What was the low? 71.18. I didn't check the current quote. Yeah, down $2.46, which is a little over 3.3%, and at 71.23 right now. So pretty much on the weak end of that scale, which is kind of interesting. Got to mute your mic, man. I can't find a mute miking button. No one sells any anymore anyway. But that's why I tell you guys, the big shots there at TFNN, you could turn it down. Anyway, we've got the SanDisk. Anyway, it's into this high volume sign of strength, which is kind of interesting. But after the bell, I think on Wednesday night is when we're going to have SanDisk. If it's not tonight, I don't think it's tonight, is it? Let me check real quick. SanDisk? Yeah, I think it's Wednesday. It just happens to be.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock in option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors. Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
I can't wait. I gotta celebrate. It's all fact. We got a first-rate act. It's evident. And we make love to
Yes, dusting off just the worst songs of all time and irritating our listeners with it as much as we can. I don't know why, but we do. Anyway, we're looking at SanDisk. I was talking about just before the break. There are lots of sources for finding out what memory prices are. So you can almost trade it like a commodity. I hear kind of Andy Heck in the background there. Yet another commodity to trade, memory. But its prices have fallen a little bit. We also had a little bit of news over the weekend, and that was Intel is going to let about 5,000 people off and fire them. So there'll be a little bit of that going on. Anyway, I was just checking my email during the break. If you would like to call, you can always call at 877-927-6648. You can always post something to look at in the den, or you can email me at path@tfnn.com. And I was just checking my email here to see if we did do something like that. But we'll check out. Anyway, we've got some others after the bell tonight. Wanted to look at those. AMD, was that already today? I didn't check that. Let's look for headlines just to make sure. Yeah, it's after the bell tonight. Just want to take a look at it. It's off just a little bit. This has been rising mostly because they're not imminently going out of business anytime soon. It's just that there isn't a lot of hope left for them. They're going to get more into producing ARMs and other kinds of chips besides the x86 style from Intel, and certainly getting out of the higher-end performance chips for things like servers. But off a little bit pre-earnings, and a lot of them are like that. But I'm not looking for a great deal out of them. We do have a CA also reporting, I believe, after the bell. CA Technologies provides enterprise information technology, management software, and solutions to help customers manage and secure IT environments. Too bad they weren't over at the Target store anytime soon. But this is another one where we've been seeing these things slowly move. Had some decent volume, 3.7 million shares on Friday before we closed. Volume a little lighter than that today, 2.8 so far, but could get into that kind of price range. What this thing hasn't done is the last huge big sign of strength to the upside was the October 25th high at 32.95, 4.7 million shares. We just really, other than kind of an inside day on the 19th of December, which was a little short squeeze with 2.9 million shares, just really haven't seen, I guess on the 20th you had 5.9, but it really didn't go anywhere. Like I said, just a lot of short squeezes right before the Christmas holidays. This thing's drifted up. First time it tried to get through that 32.95 was on December 31st with 2.2, kind of ducked back below in it. It's just kind of meandering up. You just have 4.1 million shares on kind of a spinning top on the 16th. And, you just another one ducking back in here. It's just not giving you a lot of reassurance. Also after the bell tonight is Cree. This thing's been kind of going sideways out here today. Not a lot of these not giving you a good indication. Cree certainly needs to go back and test the 52.85 low back here on November 20th. Anybody that gets my Tech Insider will probably have an earful of what I think about Cree and some of these other companies, and why I think that they are headed the way they are headed long term. Let's see what else we have out here. Fulton Financial Corporation, FULT, should be after the bell also. Let's look at the headlines just to make sure they didn't report today. Yeah, aftermarket close today. And see, just so I don't confuse myself, let's look at what do we have. Multi-bank financial holding company that provides various banking and financial services to businesses and consumers. Whatever that means. Another one kind of semi in its earnings zone out here. I don't see a lot. What we do go to is the 800-pound gorilla, and that is IBM. It's been trading off here today. It certainly has been trying to push these highs, mostly on a narrative that its Watson computer system is going to be where they're making all their money in the foreseeable future. If you don't know what that is, it is a system hooked up to read news and understand context. They showed this off famously in the Jeopardy TV game show, where it actually did lose first time, came back a couple years later, won, and pretty much handily will beat the best Jeopardy contestant. But of course, it's hooked up to Google, so it's probably fairly easy to figure that out. But this thing's up here hanging at these highs. Just that it had a whole lot of volume on Friday makes me think that we've run a lot of the shorts out of the market on this one. And if we got a little upside surprise, maybe you get a little bounce. The downside surprise could be big with most of the shorts being squozen out before tonight's earnings. This thing really looks like it wants to get down to about 159 over the long term. The question is just how does everybody look at these earnings? Of course, they've been firing and firing and firing people. The question is, were they able to fire enough people and buy enough shares to make the EPS numbers tonight? And we'll just have to stay tuned. My guess is the numbers could be are moving into that watch so heavily with everywhere else and get into something that can give us some high margins. But, yeah, there's a decent comment in the den about not buying IBM because of the NSA issues. But I think that's every company over here in the United States now, and it is a problematic. Texas Instruments is reporting after the bell, if I'm not mistaken, tonight. It is, and some decent volume on Friday, up just a little higher before, besides that, TXN. It's just, 20 cents or so from its previous December 31st high. But certainly on a failure, this thing's probably going back to just at $42 probably on a rocket ship. Could it open up a buck higher if earnings are decent? It could be. Right now, that is a coin flip with only about 50% making their earnings numbers. Let's see if there's anything else out here that I wanted to look at. Xilinx. Xilinx actually had some decent news out here. I was looking for their earnings date, not earnings date, news headlines. But, yeah, its earnings call is scheduled for 5 o'clock tonight. So we are going to have earnings. This is another one that started to break out over previous recent highs. Let me just get a little longer one. This thing is right at resistance levels. So you're either probably going to be down at 42, 43 bucks after earnings tonight, or this thing is going to finally break out. It did have, significant volume back last week, and does have new products coming out that would probably do well. Both Xilinx and Altera are having Intel build their chips, and this has been a huge boon for both of these companies. Now that they're down to 18 and 20 nanometer technology from 28 nanometer technology, especially with companies that can't compete directly with Intel, let's say like if you're building something in ARMS, have to go to Taiwan Semiconductors, it is problematic. Anyway, we're going to go to John in Philly. How you doing, John?
Hey, good afternoon, David. I hope you can get that bug out of your throat, so I wish you well on that. David, I wanted to ask you about GDX. Mm-hmm. Could you pull that up on your Art of the Charts on the daily? It's currently 2365 near the high of the day. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if you could pull up and look at the swing highs back of late October and late August.
October 28th and September 18th and August 27th.
Exactly, and examine what confluence is off those highs, and if GDX rallies up to that confluence zone, I wanted to ask and just hear you speak about what you'd expect, what you'd think of doing, if anything, if GDX gets up to that confluence range.
Well, we are showing it on here. Let's even zoom in just a little closer to make it visible on Tiger TV and in the den. Confluence is where two Fibonacci ratios, where the 618 retracement of one and the 382 retracement of the other agree. If you go on to TFNN.com, should be find the Art of the Chart videos, find the one for confluence. It'll explain it a little bit further. But basically, you're looking for the 382 of one and the 618 of the other. And that should give fairly decent resistance levels. We're not that far away from it, 60 cents. That's pretty much where I'm looking at it. That's going to be very, very hard resistance. And what it basically entails is two different levels of people wanting to get their cash back from previous down legs. And this would be exactly, if you bought at the lows, this is exactly where you would probably want to be selling when it hits that level. And even with gold pulling back, not a bad day for GDX. But normally what you want to have in Confluence is two different Fibonacci nodes coming from two different time spans. And I'm not talking about 2 or 3 days. I'm talking about here we're probably looking at 25 trading days for each, in between each leg, which is exactly what you're looking for. You're also looking for a extremely narrow range between those two. I mean, in this case, what do we got? 12 cents on a $24 price projection. That's good enough for me. I try to look for 0.5% or at the most about 1% for that range between the two. If they get wider than that, it becomes more of just an issue of congestion zones. This would suggest that there's going to be an extreme selling pressure right around that $24.36 level to the $24.48. And it's not uncommon that it could probably break that by, I don't know, a quarter and then close back below it the same day. That would be the confirmation that that thing's probably going to hold and hold for a while.
Excellent. Great. I appreciate those thoughts. That was pretty darn clear. So thank you so much.
You bet. Nothing else on it?
Nope. That is it for today, David. Thanks.
Okay. Once you hit Confluence, you're probably going to find what I suspect is going to be pretty stiff selling. And you're probably setting up a trading range, at least for a while, until gold can eat up and digest the lower prices in gold. So you're probably looking at a price range from around the low 20s back up to this 24.5 range, making probably some very good range-bound trading in gold. But I would not be surprised to see one more push maybe back up in gold and then see gold move back. I still think that the very long-term buy on gold is maybe weeks, if not months away, and you could see a lot of action down in these levels, so you could trade it. But I'm not looking at this run going right to 1800. Now, let's say that I am wrong, and this thing blows right through the 2450 level and never looks back.
Yes. In that event, what does that do for your line of thinking, please?
Well, I figure we're in the fifth wave of 5 waves for gold. And that means that whenever this congestion, consolidation, or whatever is over, the next leg up is probably going to just continue all the way up to $2,500. And fifth waves in these markets tend to have two things: light volume and a very, very steady move up. I mean, no opportunity to get back in, no opportunity to sell, nothing. It just every day, just a little higher, higher. We could see a couple of years of that, and that's going to be one of the toughest markets to hang on to. So I'm trying to be patient to get back into that.
Excellent. Thanks, David.
You bet.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's trading newsletter.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days, unconditionally, so there's no risk to you, other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Join Andy Hecht as he teaches you how to make money in commodities. The Commodities Hour, next on TFNN.
As we come back, I had a question in the den if we could look at HPQ. And, you certainly have fairly light volume up here. February 20th is earnings date, so you've got a good 30 days out here. I think probably the biggest problem with setting up Hewlett-Packard is how many people are short it now. And I didn't get a look at it, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people were shorting it over the last week, 10 days, just from looking at the action and listening to what people said about it. It is probably fairly valued up here. But Meg Whitman is probably one of the premier CEOs. She's done pretty much everything right. I think that she gets not much press when the Yahoo CEO babe gets a ton of it. And I think she actually had to do something. It's still, the jury's out on Yahoo. But certainly turned a lot of things around. Of course, they're going to be getting into 3D printing midsummer. They've come up with some fairly decent new ideas. They're going to be getting into some new businesses. So certainly she has done all the right things. The question is just if you're in the Titanic and it's sinking, what can you do besides get people in lifeboats? Of course, the captain failed on that one. She's actually been able to plug most of the big holes. My only question is evaluation up here, and as long as everybody keeps shorting it, it's going to be tough probably between now and February 20th or 22nd, whenever earnings are, to see this break that much. I think there's just far too many shorts underneath it. Kind of one of those things like watching a water trying to boil. But I think you're probably going to see this thing probably pull back into the 28s. But my guess is that severe damage to the stock, if the market does pull up back, probably doesn't happen for a little while longer. And what else do we have going? Well, we looked at IBM, we looked at Cree, we looked at AMD. We've got a lot of earnings coming out over the next few days, and it is going to be interesting to see just how far we go. Hang on just a second. Yeah, let's see. Okay. And I'm just trying to get a look and see just how volume is coming in those last little bit before the end of the day. 2.7 billion shares on the S&P cash. And, to tell you the truth, I'm short. I don't have a real problem holding short. If we do hang out up here for probably the rest of this week, I'm not worried about losing money, but I am worried about the longer we hang out at this 1840 level to see some kind of a breakout. And that's not what you don't, or this is what you don't want to see, is just us sit here and sit here and sit here and then finally go up. I think I've got 5 positions now short in the daily newsletter, only one of them index related. And I think I'm right on the stocks, individual stocks. It's probably a little tougher to see us seeing this S&P break here as much as it certainly looks like it wants to. So we'll be watching it. We'll be watching the earnings. But every time I see earnings, like this morning from J&J, Verizon, and Travelers, the reaction is not good, and the forecasts are not very good. And the market just keeps shrugging it off, saying, hey, it's not going to happen to me. It has nothing to do with me. Just looking the other way. Anyway, we do have Andy Heck coming up, and we've got his little Jaws theme playing. He'll be talking about commodities. And as he stalks me every Tuesdays and Thursdays, he is here today. We'll see him in just a minute. Do or sell when you can, not when you have to.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.